Back in the year of 2007, me and my stepdad were sitting on the couch, and now that I think about it, that income tax return must have been sitting up in that wallet like warm hotcakes, cause he hopped up and said, you know what, I'm about to go get an Xbox 360. See, that Xbox 360 was about 2 years old, and when we went to GameStop that evening, we got 2 games. The first one, it was NBA 2K7. It was even legendary to me, even though I don't even care about sports games like that, because in the previews we could see the jerseys and shorts flowing, we could see the sweat beating down people's necks, and next thing you know, people was like, this shit is real life. I mean, we coming from NBA Live with static camera angles and people that look like dolls running around dribbling. And then the next game was up to me. He looked at me and said, what game you want to get? I got to thinking about this legendary commercial that caused grown men to cry. I got to thinking about that music Mad World that was playing in the background.
Run in circles, it's a very, very mad world.
And I looked up there and I seen that cog symbol sitting up there on the front of that case, and it was Gears of War, people. Gears of War. I snatched that game up immediately. I think it had only been out for about 5 or 6 months. It came out the holiday season before, and next thing you know, we went home after playing that 2K for a little bit. We finally popped in Gears of War, and I realized that gaming had been changed forever. To understand the real impact of Gears of War, I gotta go back to my past experience with shooters before I played Gears of War. See, shooters, especially third-person shooters, mostly involved sitting on the corner and peeking out to take pot shots at enemies and then running back around that corner. Or if you played a first-person game, crouching under cover, peeking up, taking some shots, and then ducking back down into cover. Everything was pretty much designed for you to take shots from a regular stance of shooting. But whenever you first seen Gears of War, or whenever I seen those commercials for that game Kill Switch back on PS2, it showed a different type of way of shooting. It showed a more cinematic way. They would move and put their backs up against the wall with such momentum that you see concrete shaking up out of the cover, that you could feel the intensity of the gunfight. You could reach around and blind fire. The closest I came to playing a cover shooter was on Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, when I was peeking around the corner shooting guns with Snake and Raiden. But that was a stealth game, so those mechanics really didn't match the intensity that I had yet to feel when I played Gears. The game kicks off with Dom busting Marcus out of jail. Marcus Phoenix, our protagonist, a dude who also rocks a do-rag. I was in shock because I had never seen a game play this good, look this good, and move this good while being able to have split screen co-op at the same time. I felt like I was truly in the next generation of gaming. I'm talking about the first time I revved up that Lancer and put it inside of a locust clavicle. The first time I ever flanked around the back, looked at the bottom of the screen, and seen when my step pops was pinned down. You could only imagine how heartbroken I was when my sister, who decided to fall asleep right next to the Xbox, kicked over the console and scratched up the whole game disc. It's cool, sis. R.I.P. Love you. We were back to making locust meatballs with grenades the next day because we immediately replaced the game. You see, one of the reasons why we took such a liking to this game is the whole aesthetic. You got big NFL heavyweight wrestler shaped dudes fighting against this almost unstoppable force of monsters that come from underground. The game has this desolate, hopeless feeling to its world, like it was the worst ending that could have happened in a movie, and then we gotta get ready to fight against those odds like the Spartans in 300. While the story is really just plot devices to keep us moving through the world, it's the bond between the main characters in this game that really shines in my memory. Alongside Marcus Phoenix and Dominic Santiago, the best friends, we also have Bear, the straight guy who has the goggles on his forehead, always talking and making sure that everybody stays in line. And then we got Cole Train, who's the ex-athlete turned military grunt who's always cracking jokes and making light of this obvious heavy situation. Oh yeah, I can't forget Carmine, the Kenny of the group who becomes a running gag throughout the series. Anytime you see somebody wearing a helmet, chances are they're gonna get their ears pierced by a sniper round. Even though the world is going through an extinction level event, the banter between these characters and their interactions with the rest of the world around them gave me something to laugh at. Next up, I'm going to talk about the novelty and the mechanics. This game is hailing from the same family tree as the Unreal Tournament series. For those that don't know, the Unreal Tournament series was a series of arena shooters, first-person arena shooters. They had a variety of weapons and they had mechanics and obstacles that you could use around those maps and arenas that always resulted in emergent gameplay and athleticism while moving around trying to win team death matches and listening to the announcer say headshot out loud whenever you shot somebody in the nose. While the announcer decided to sit out on this game offers its own unique set of mechanics that makes it special. See, this game is from an entirely different perspective. It's more akin to Resident Evil 4's over-the-shoulder perspective. And then we have special unique qualities to this game that we weren't seeing anywhere else. For example, the active reload. Whenever you reload a clip, if you hit a button at a certain time, you'll do bonus damage with the bullets that you're loading into the clip. The movement in this game was really a whole new beast on its own. You see, most games had people strafing back and forth, left and right, dodging reticules in order to try and get the kill on each other. With the cover mechanics in this game, people were bouncing off of walls, using shotguns and then diving out of the way, and even the sprint mechanic had this spectacular camera angle right behind you. It was called the roadie run, where the game would go from being locked behind you to having this reality show cameraman chasing you while you were sprinting at all times. There is also a distinct arsenal of weapons at your disposal throughout this game. Of course, we got the signature assault rifle, the Lancer, where instead of a bayonet, we have a chainsaw at the bottom. You stick it through ops, rev it up, and you see blood spray everywhere like sprinklers. Then you got the unique grenade animation that I love so much. You spin it around like it's a mace with a spiked ball on it. Next thing you know, you throw it and then take cover as it rains red everywhere. You also have more specialized weapons like the Hammer of Dawn, which is actually an airstrike in your pocket, which gets used during unique situations. One of the things that I noticed when I first played Gears of War is that the locusts are some of the most formidable enemies that I ever faced. If you weren't trying to go for headshots, it was gonna take more than a clip to take these dudes down, even when you're playing on normal difficulty. I remember I got accustomed to trying to take their fucking heads off with every gun that I had, whether it was a sniper rifle, a revolver, even the assault rifle. I'm going for headshots all the time just to save ammo. But then it's not just the regular foot soldiers, you also got unique types of enemies throughout the game. One of the craziest moments is when you run into the Berserker for the first time, an unstoppable locust that runs through walls and chases you. It's blind, but it chases you based on sound. So instead of a straight up gunfight or a bullet sponge, this turns into a puzzle where you gotta use the brute force from this boss in order to make holes in the walls in order to proceed through that level. Another legendary segment in the game is when you go against the krill. At nighttime, if you get caught in the dark and you're not around any torch light or any sources of light, you will be swarmed and devoured by these bug-like locusts that fly around as an entity. While this was the time in the gaming industry where the browns and the grays were getting heavy with the color palette, the environments and the level in this game were dynamic enough to keep it unique throughout the story mode. We're talking about train sequences, underground caves, running through monumental buildings and cities, seeing statues and stuff get torn apart, different types of set pieces that made everything come together like a truly epic game. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. I figured I'd talk about what made Gears of War so legendary while me and the homie played through Gears of War Reloaded, the newly released one that just came out in 2025. I can't believe it's almost been 20 years since this game first dropped back in the day, man. Yeah, if y'all have any sweet memories of Gears whenever it first released, the first time you ever seen a trailer, if you ever seen it in any magazines, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Go ahead and like and subscribe before your battery dies. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. I didn't play too much multiplayer this time around, but back in the day, I remember multiplayer started off with everybody playing like the campaign, and then it started getting insane. Like the cover mechanics got exploited, and all the players that really just stayed loyal to this game became psychos. This game was one of the first games I ever played on Xbox Live. So I remember in my first game, I got the last kill with the Lancer chainsaw on somebody that was stalking me. And hey, everybody was cheering for me through the headset. Then I started getting thrashed by shotguns back to back after that. There we have it, pretty much a tribute to Gears of War. Why this game personally was legendary to me when I first played it. Like I said, the story is not the strongest point. It's more about the atmosphere, the polish, the mechanics, the playability of this game. That's what really put this game on the map for me. Even though it wasn't the first third-person cover shooter, it definitely was one of the most impactful third-person cover shooters. Y'all be safe and stay geeked.
Let's do this.